replace that entire expense, not reduce it, replace it. Eggs, meat, dairy, produce, fruit, honey, and household products. Every major grocery category is covered from the land itself, without relying on outside feed, outside fertilizer, or outside chemicals. A half-acre is roughly 21,000 square feet, smaller than most people imagine. But when every square foot serves a function, and every system on that land feeds or supports at least 2 others, the output is enormous relative to the space. This is not a gardening tips video. This is a complete blueprint. Stay through, because the order you build this in determines whether the system sustains itself or falls apart within the first year. Eggs and chicken are the 2 items most families buy every single week without exception. 20 to 25 dual-purpose hens, breeds like Rhode Island Reds or Australorps, produce between 250 and 300 eggs per hen per year. That flock generates far more eggs than a family of 4 can consume, with surplus available for barter or modest sales within the community. Rotated through garden beds after harvest, those same birds scratch, peck, and till the soil while eliminating every pest, grub, and weed seed they encounter. Their manure is extraordinarily high in nitrogen, feeding the soil biology that drives the next planting cycle. Raising a batch of meat birds alongside the layers adds over 100 pounds of chicken to the household per year. The poultry aisle at the grocery store becomes irrelevant within the first season. The average family spends $250 to $350 a month on produce alone. A well-managed 2,000 square foot garden, using intensive raised beds and succession planting, replaces the vast majority of that spending. The key is year-round production. Cold frames, low tunnels, and a simple hoop house push the growing season to 10 or even 12 months in most climate zones. Crop selection matters as much as technique. Potatoes, winter squash, dry beans, root vegetables, and storage onions provide caloric density that keeps a family fed through months when fresh greens slow down. Tomatoes, peppers, leafy greens, and herbs fill the remaining gaps during the warm season. Every bed on this half-acre is fertilized entirely by animal manure and compost generated within the system itself. No purchased amendments. Preservation through canning, fermenting, dehydrating, and freezing bridges whatever seasonal gaps remain. The produce aisle disappears next. For producing lean meat on a small footprint, nothing matches the efficiency of rabbits. 3 pounds of feed produces 1 pound of rabbit meat. Beef cattle require 7 to 8 pounds of feed for that same single pound. The gap is enormous. 3 does and 1 buck on a half-acre realistically produce 150 to 200 pounds of premium lean meat per year. That replaces the majority of a family's red meat and lean protein purchases without requiring pasture acreage that a half-acre simply cannot spare. Rabbit hutches positioned on wire bottoms above garden beds allow the animals to fertilize the soil continuously below them while they eat, sleep, and grow. Their manure is cold, so it goes directly onto beds without composting first. There is no burn risk. The manure is loaded with nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. Breeding cycles are fast. Kits reach harvest weight in 8 to 12 weeks, creating a steady rotation of available protein throughout the entire year. The meat aisle gets replaced quietly and efficiently. Standard dairy goats demand significant acreage and heavy grain supplementation that a half-acre cannot support. Nigerian dwarf goats weigh between 60 and 80 pounds, thrive on browse and forage already growing on the property, and produce milk averaging 6 to 10% butter fat. That butter fat content is significantly higher than cow milk and well above most full-size goat breeds. 2 does produce enough fresh milk daily to cover a family's complete dairy needs. Cheese, butter, yogurt, and cream are all simple to make at home, scale with milk this rich. No industrial equipment required. Goat milk soap alone replaces an entire category of purchased household products. These animals are browsers by nature, preferring weeds, shrubs, and woody vegetation over grass, which means they actively clear land and manage growth that every other animal on the property ignores. Kids born each season can be raised for additional production or traded within the community. The dairy aisle and a meaningful portion of the household products aisle are now eliminated from the grocery list. The most important component on this entire half-acre is not an animal most people would recognize as one. The black soldier fly larva consumes kitchen scraps, animal manure, spoiled produce, and crop waste, converting all of it into a feed source containing 42% protein and 35% fat. Chickens, ducks, and fish thrive on it. That single bin replaces the largest recurring expense on any small food operation. Purchased feed. The byproduct left behind after the larvae have eaten, called frass, is a potent organic fertilizer rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and beneficial microbes that synthetic amendments cannot replicate. Apply it to garden beds and the difference is visible within weeks. One well-managed BSF bin takes in waste. The half-acre was already generating and returns free animal feed and free soil fertility simultaneously. The feed bill and the fertilizer bill both drop to near zero. The system is now self-feeding. Crops pollinated by bees produce 30 to 80% more fruit than those without adequate pollination coverage. That single statistic changes the math on everything already growing on the half-acre. 2 hives provide complete pollination across the entire property and up to 3 miles in every direction. Garden yields increase. Fruit tree output climbs dramatically. Every flowering crop on the land produces more food from the same soil, the same water, and the same labor simply because the bees are present. Beyond pollination, each hive generates 25 to 100 pounds of honey per year. Raw honey replaces every purchased sweetener in the household. Sugar, maple syrup, agave, all of it unnecessary once the hives are producing. Beeswax becomes candles, lip balm, and wood polish, replacing additional store-bought household products at zero recurring cost. Honey is also one of the most shelf-stable foods in existence. No refrigeration, no canning, no processing required. The sweetener aisle and another slice of the household aisle are now gone. Annual gardens produce fast. Perennial systems produce forever. 8 to 12 semi-dwarf fruit trees, apple, pear, peach, and plum, fit comfortably on a half-acre alongside berry rows of blueberry, blackberry, and raspberry. Berries begin producing within the first or second year. Fruit trees reach full output in 3 to 5 years, but continue producing for decades once established. Baby doll sheep graze beneath the trees, mowing grass, depositing manure, and managing weeds in the exact spaces where machinery cannot safely operate. Their small stature means they never reach high enough to damage lower branches or developing fruit. Ducks rotate through the orchard periodically, eliminating slugs, beetles, and ground-dwelling insects without a single chemical application. Preserved fruit through canning, drying, freezing, and jam making fills the final grocery gap that annual vegetables cannot cover. The fruit aisle is now replaced. Every major grocery category is accounted for. Every system on this half-acre is integrated and feeds or supports at least 2 others. Kitchen scraps enter the BSF bin. Larvae feed the chickens. Chicken manure feeds the garden. The garden feeds the family. Scraps return to the bin. Goat manure enriches beds and feeds soil biology. Bees increase harvest yield across the property. Sheep maintain the orchard floor. Rabbits fertilize from above. Grocery categories replaced. Eggs, poultry, red meat, dairy, produce, fruit, sweeteners, and household products. Start with chickens, a garden, and a BSF bin in Season 1. Add rabbits and bees in Season 2. Layer in goats, fruit trees, and sheep in Seasons 3 and 4. Each layer strengthens everything already in place. A half-acre is not a small farm. It is a complete food system. Drop a comment and tell us which grocery aisle you would eliminate first.